Entertainment has returned to the Golden Horseshoe Saloon inside Disneyland Park. We take a peek at fall crowds and Haunted Mansion Muppet Edition. All that and so much more. It's time for a Disneyland drop-in. What's going on, my friends? Wait for the Kingdom Report, hanging out with you once again, covering all the latest updates, trending topics, and stories coming out of the Disneyland Resort. Today, inside Disneyland Park to start things, and yep, Chip and Dale ready for Halloween, no doubt. We mentioned to you last week that Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln had suddenly closed its doors and wasn't necessarily due for a refurbishment. Well, we've learned recently that this is because they are using the theater for training of cast members when it comes to the new Genie Plus service that will be debuting this fall. Still no return date for Mr. Lincoln. Carnation Cafe, a little further up Main Street, USA, recently returned to us. However, something worth noting is that they don't offer dinner right now. In fact, it's only breakfast and lunch, so all the way up until 2 p.m. is when Carnation Cafe is serving things. After 2 p.m., the outdoor portion of the facility becomes open seating for anybody that would like to pop a squat. So there you go. Moving on into Fantasyland now. One thing I wanted to give you an update on is that the Royal Hall remains closed at this time. Still, princesses and all of their royal friends are meeting right across from the front door of the Royal Hall at the Royal Theater, where they used to do various vaudevillian-style stage shows. This is until further notice. Deeper into Fantasyland we go, where you see various barricades have been set up on either side of the Fantasyland Theater marquee. It's not as though you can't access the area behind it. You still can. Obviously, the theater dedicated to Mickey and the Magical Map, which has been closed since Disneyland reopened. Perhaps the rope wasn't doing it, and they wanted to make it very clear that the theater was closed. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some groundwork about to happen. It just seemed unusual to have barricades up in front of and behind the marquee. We're going to keep our eye on it and let you know if anything changes. Moving on into Adventureland, work is still underway on Tarzan's Treehouse. This, again, one of those refurbishments that was not scheduled, sort of happened all of a sudden. They have various tarps up on both sides of Tarzan's Treehouse, and work is underway. The monorail station in Tomorrowland has lots of activity going on, with cast members training for the monorail right now. We saw a whole cluster of monorail pilot cast members walking up and down the exit route for the attraction. I spoke with one of them who said in just a couple of weeks, we are going to be seeing the monorail back in full capacity. Very excited to see the monorail return to the Disneyland Resort. Moving along now, you'll see that in Toontown, not a whole lot is being offered when it comes to food and beverage here. In fact, all of the dedicated Toontown locations when it comes to eating and drinking have not reopened since Disneyland has, and that has led to some big crowds when it comes to the lone outdoor vending cart that does open up as sort of a temporary location here in this land as its sort of sole contributor to anything worth eating or drinking. On hot days especially, you can see how this line stretches, and this is a cart that's only open for a few hours. They might want to reconsider opening something else up back here, at least for the time being, because this one cart had an awful lot of demand. Moving into Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad remains closed right now as it goes through its scheduled refurbishment. We saw the train testing at various points during our visit, and it's very exciting to know that in just about a month, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is set to return. We also heard some rumors that the Golden Horseshoe Saloon in Frontierland has some entertainment back. We walked inside, and boy, did they have that entertainment back. Long gone are the days of Billy Hill and the Hillbillies and various variety shows. Right now, it's a slow burn of entertainment returning. Michael and his piano were there, bringing us some jokes and some music. Let's take a listen.
Hello, cowboy, but right now, one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw, a cloud in ragged skies, and a cloudy draw.
We do love seeing entertainment in any form return to the Golden Horseshoe, and thank you, Michael, for tickling the ivories for us. Out in New Orleans Square we go, where we've been keeping our eye on the Royal Street veranda. Since Walls came down here a few weeks back, the outdoor seating area has returned, but the windows haven't opened up quite yet. Work is going on just behind those windows. We anticipate an announcement coming very soon. And speaking of an announcement coming very soon, we can't wait to hear exactly what's going to be moving in behind these windows, since it's been made over to what we believe is something Princess and the Frog related. Is it food? Is it a store? We can't wait to hear what's going to open doors in New Orleans Square. Lots of work still underway for the platforms dedicated to the Fantasmic Nighttime Spectacular. Still no announcement as to when the show will be returning. However, it's been pointed out that they typically don't work on these platforms unless there's a show right around the corner. Moving further up the rivers of America, the Pelican's Landing area, just in front of the Haunted Mansion, is the new space they are dedicating to a double-decker seating area. Right now, just a pile of dirt and lots of digging going on. This will all meet up to the Harbor Galley restaurant. And right alongside that, the sailing ship Columbia is in dry dock right now. Yep, see, no water beneath it. It's all because it's being worked on and beautified for our future enjoyment. Love that ship. And we move along now to a bit of Halloween splendor, as out of nowhere, as these cavalcades typically do, a special Halloween-themed mini parade snuck up on us.
Mickey and his pals are thrilled and filled with Halloween spirit. And hooray, they're on their way.
Do love these cavalcades when they come out of nowhere, especially when they are Halloween themed. And we move across the esplanade now to Disney California Adventure Park and into Buena Vista Street, where we've been chronicling for you the movement of Disney's Photo Pass out of the theme parks and into a centralized location between both parks. But a development here at the Kingswell Camera Shop, where PhotoPass used to be based inside California Adventure, they've put up a new sign outside of the walls that now block the area that they used to operate in that says, "We're enhancing Kingswell Camera Shop." That's confusing, especially since they aren't coming back to this location. We assume it's just going to be more retail space, but at any rate, that sign wasn't there last week. It was a completely different sign. So we'll keep our eye on that too. Here in Hollywoodland, wanted to point out to you that the Disney Theater, which used to house the Disney Junior characters on stage, but hasn't since California Adventure reopened, is in fact doing several shows a night for the Oogie Boogie Bash special ticketed event, but not during the normal operating day. Very interesting to say the least, and we'll keep our eye on this as well, as we anticipate Disney Junior returning at some point in the near future. Here in the Hollywood backlot section, we've also been monitoring for you in recent weeks walls that have gone up in this area in front of the studio store that are now down as repaving work was underway. Looks like everything's repaved, and if you didn't know walls were up a week ago, I don't think you would know that anything happened back here. Moving into Avengers Campus, the Dora Milaje was out parading through the land, keeping everybody safe and paying tribute to their home nation of Wakanda. Sliding on into Cars Land, Lightning McQueen was about to zoom by saying ka-chow in his Halloween costume. And typically, as one car leaves, another enters, and we got his best friend Mater, or should I say, Dracula, coming to meet and greet everybody that would like a photo with Mater in his Halloween's best. Moving on into the Pixar Pier section of the park, work continues on the Cappuccino cart that typically sits here right next to the Pacific Wharf entrance. It does create a bit of a pinch point, as we've mentioned, but no visible work being done so far. However, an area that we are seeing visible progress on is the World of Color platform. We've reported in recent weeks that unfortunately this show was left to rot during the pandemic shutdown, and a series of mistakes and missteps by lack of maintenance led to millions of dollars needing to be spent in order to resurrect the show. The water has been drained from the lagoon, and it looks like work is now officially underway. There is a lot of intricacies here when it comes to this platform, so no doubt we are going to see lots of work happening here in the very near future. Elsewhere in the Paradise Gardens section of the park, the Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta restaurant remains shuttered. It hasn't reopened since California Adventure has, and it's something we check in on every couple of updates just to see if anything's changed. Unfortunately, it hasn't. Maybe we'll see it come back someday.
You'll love this game, it's so insane. Everybody, I said everybody play it. Everybody say it. You won't be able to say it once you play this game. How can I make it any mania? So come on, pal, and step right up. Make some noise. Time to play along with all the toys. You know your life will never be mania when you play Mania.
After a performance like that, I don't know how you wouldn't want to ride the Toy Story Midway Mania attraction. Great job, Potato Head. In the Grizzly Peak Recreation Area, we saw our friend Big Al from the Country Bear Jamboree out saying hello in his own slow fashion. And outside the theme parks themselves, the Mickey and Friends parking structure walkway, yes, I said walkway, still no tram service out here. If you need a ride to the front of the parks, you will need to park in the Toy Story parking lot in order to do that, or a bus will pick you up and bring you in. But out on the walkway to Mickey and Friends is a new exhibit. Quite the creative marketing ploy. This exhibit on the Mickey and Friends tram route is something you definitely want to take some photos with. Also wanted to take a moment to mention to you that fall crowds have arrived, and what that means right now is something very different than what it meant before 2020. Obviously, October and Halloween time were beckoning lots and lots of guests. It was always very dense during this time of year to visit the theme parks. But due to the managed Park Pass reservation system now, both Magic Key holders, the annual pass demographic for Disneyland, as well as average everyday ticket buying guests are seeing that really wait times are quite moderate and much more enjoyable than they usually are this time of year. Now, having said that, there are days that are booked out completely for the annual pass holder demographic, the Magic Key holders, and even some ticket holders, depending on the day. All things to keep in mind if you are choosing to visit the Disneyland Resort anytime soon, as October crowds can sometimes sneak up on you, just like if you're going to the Oogie Boogie Bash or spending a day at California Adventure, that Oogie Boogie Bash crowd shows up at 3 p.m., and look at what it does. A huge backup in the esplanade on any party day. Well, my friends, that about wraps things up for us here today. If you appreciate what you saw, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that notification bell turned on and that thumbs up button is firmly pressed. We always appreciate it. For the Kingdom Report, I'm Wade Heath. We'll see you next time for another installment of the Disneyland Drop-In.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.